recruiter with University of Nebraska High School. And during this day and age, we're very happy to be an option or a resource source for families, for students, even for schools. We work with all. And I'm here tonight just to kind of talk a little bit about who we are and what we do, and how come, a lot of people have never heard of us before, which doesn't surprise me because the school has been around for over 90 years, and it was started way back in the day as a correspondence course option for the University of Nebraska to kind of bridge that gap between kids who only went up to 8th grade, but here's the university who wants students that have a high school diploma. So they started this correspondence option course program way back 90 years ago. So of course, as you can see through time, we've adapted to the different changes. We're completely 100% online, but we still do offer the correspondence course option because we do have students that are maybe globally that they can't always get a hold of Wi-Fi or internet access. So they still will do their courses through correspondence and mail. So it is an option out there, but this being able to do everything online is kind of nice these days. So basically what I want to do tonight is kind of talk a little bit about who and what we are, how it works, timelines, a little bit about our tuition, what proctoring is, and then we can do some questions and answers at the end. So first and foremost, once again, University of Nebraska High School, or I will refer to it as UNHS. It's just a little bit easier for an acronym. We offer 100% online college prep high school courses that will fit any student's schedule. Students are able to take our courses as supplemental to their local school, or they can become full-time diploma students with us. So we work both ways. First and foremost, we love it if we can keep the students with their local school, because then they have that support locally from their school counselors. They're there with their friends, they're there with their families, and they have that option that they can just take some of our courses and then transfer those credits back to their local school. But whatever the situation is, we are that option that they can become full-time diploma students with us. So students are able to transfer any previously earned credits, say if they're, going into 10th grade or they're going into 11th grade and they want to transfer those credits to us. We do have that ability to get we just need an official transcript from the school, and we can a lot of times transfer those eligible credits to us towards our graduation requirements, and then set them on that path to be a diploma student with us and graduate with us as well. So our courses help to keep students on the path to graduation while addressing scheduling conflicts, curriculum gaps, and maybe a desire for advanced coursework. We do have a lot of student athletes. Being in Omaha, of course, you've heard of the Lancers. Lincoln, we have the Lincoln Stars. So a lot of hockey players are actually enrolling with us at this time. We also get a lot of equestrian students, a lot of horse riders. We also get, tennis players, soccer players, you name it. We get a lot of student athletes. We also get a lot of performers, either, maybe singer-songwriters, or maybe they're actors and stuff. We're an option for that as well too. Curriculum gaps, we might offer some courses that the local school doesn't offer. A lot of times, maybe not so much in like the OPS or Papillion, La Vista School District, or the larger school districts across the state, because they're able to offer a fuller curriculum option for their students. But some of their more rural schools, they might not have certain options for like fourth year AP French or certain chemistry classes and such. And so we can be an option to fill those curriculum gaps. And then advanced coursework, we offer AP courses, and we also have a dual enrollment high school to college credit program with UNO as well. So looking at my notes right over here, we offer more than 100 online core courses, electives, AP, dual enrollment, and we are also NCAA endorsed as well. So that's hence why we get a lot of the student athletes too. Students can enroll at any time. So that is probably the biggest thing that I am getting that question this time of year. In addition to, my local school, I'm not sure what they're going to do this fall, but they're like, when are your deadlines? How many openings do you have for certain courses and such? Well, in a nutshell, we don't have that. So basically what we're open enrollment. We're a year-round school. Students can enroll with us at any time. And then once they're enrolled in courses and they receive all of their login information, they can start at any time. Once they're logged into their course, they have a full year to complete that course. But we do give some guidance on how students can complete those courses within, like a semester or so, which is typically what most of our students will. But they do have that option because it is independent study. They have a full year to complete that course. So we do not have a semester start date. It's whenever is best for the student. We do not have cohorts, or we don't have certain sections. Like there's not so many kids that need to be enrolled in English 1 for it to roll. That course is for them to enroll in. Once they're enrolled in, they take that course. So, so we run a little bit different than the traditional school in that aspect too. So people worrying about deadlines, I need to have them done by the start of the school year. You don't need to worry about that with us. One big thing about us as well is our accreditation. So we are accredited through Cognia, which is kind of an umbrella accreditation group, and it is basically the same accreditation as any brick and mortar high school. So if you check with Papillion South, or if you check with Millard North or even Millard West, more than likely they will have the same accreditation as us. We're also accredited through the Nebraska Department of Education as well too. So what that means to you and to the student is if they take courses with us, the credits they earn, they can transfer them to another school, or they can transfer them on to the college that they go to as well. Let's see, I'm just gonna scroll down here a little bit on my notes here. So a little bit how the program works. So they are independent study courses, and they're designed for a student's independent study learning. So the student will organize themselves and work at their own pace through our online classroom called Way Cool, which is also called an LMS or learning management system, but we've named it Way Cool. Eventually, later on this year, we are upgrading our online classroom. It should hopefully be seamless, that once we've upgraded everything and moved everything over to the new platform, the student will just be able to move right over to it. But for now, it is called Way Cool, and that's our online classroom. Very similar to like Blackboard, Canvas, LMS systems like that. So I mentioned before, we are open year round. We do not have specific start dates. Students can enroll at any time. Students are not enrolled into groups with other students too. So another question I get quite a bit is, what is the interaction with other students? Well, we have contemplated this and thought about this and gone back and forth about this for years, but it was just because students start at different times all the time, they're not always at the same level where they're at in their studies. So it'd almost be, without having students grouped together and starting at the same time, it wouldn't be possible for us to create those groups like that for students to interact, because we wouldn't know where they're at in their study process. So right now we do keep it strictly as independent study for the students. So each classroom will present a syllabus and all of the course materials, with the exception of the course textbook, which it will show the lessons for the student, the assessments, they'll get teacher feedback through this as well, and then they'll see their grades and they'll see progress information as well. Students do not have specific login times, and they do not have dedicated due dates or for assignments and progress exams, because once again, this goes into the independent study where students are able to study and work on their materials at their own pace. Courses are not live. They do not include live interactions with teachers or other students, and we do not have live or pre-recorded teacher lectures. So basically, the curriculum is textbook based. If the student just follows their syllabus step by step, it will guide them through the whole entire course. Select courses will have multimedia links, you know, outside of the classroom, like maybe a YouTube video, or, you know, go to this site for more information. If a student is needing extra, you know, maybe assistance from their teacher, they are able to contact their teacher through email. This kind of goes back to why we do not have live interactions between students. We keep everything with the teachers through email. Number one, we are a global school as well, too. We have students in over 110 countries internationally. And we have been in all 50 states. So trying to coordinate a Skype session or a Zoom session with a student in India, or in Bangalore, or, you know, Singapore, wherever it might be, that teacher would have to be like on call 24/7, and we just can't do that to them. So we do keep everything communication-wise through email for security reasons as well. And then also it helps us to keep a trail of, you know, the paper trail, as you would say, of the communications between students and teachers too. But they are very responsive to the students with questions and so on. So no specific login times. Okay, so we do have dedicated office hours as well too. We are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5. Obviously not today, which is fine. I was telling Lacey that I love doing things like this because it is a nice change from the norm. In a normal recruiter world, I am out, you know, hitting the road, going to counselor conferences and such across the country. And now that was pretty much, I had a event back in March in San Diego, and a week later, everything was gone. So, come on, vaccine, something. So this is fun, but I do enjoy what I do because, you know, basically, we're in it for the students, and we're very student-centric, student-focused. We're not all about how many enrollments can we get, how much money can we make during this time, this pandemic. We're not like 24/7 advertising on TV, and you don't hear us on the radio. We're very much doing things like this, doing local, word of mouth. We get a lot of referrals. I think just, you know, having the university name as part of our name too helps as well too. So, so other than that, I do not get Labor Day off this year because the university changed their schedule. So I do get Labor Day in December. There we go. So let's see, my next notes is getting started. I had mentioned earlier before that we are an option either way for students if they just need to take a couple courses with us. And then to supplement and here's my dog right here. Say hi, Lucky. I warned Lacey that might happen. If a student is just going to take a few courses with us and transfer that credit back to their local school, we usually highly recommend having that conversation with the school counselor to make sure that the correct course is chosen. And then a lot of times the school counselor will give some guidance on when they would like to see that course completed by. With our courses, minimum completion, let me go back a second. So all of our courses are the equivalent to a semester length course. And they are worth like 5 credit hours or 0.5 credits, depending on what system the school uses. So world languages are the exception because each level, like say first year Spanish or 4th year French, each level of a world language is a full year. So it'd be worth 10 credits instead. So going back to how long it takes to complete a course, minimum completion is 5 weeks, which is super intense, but we've had students do it. They don't always get the greatest grades if they finish a semester-length course in 5 weeks, but it can be done. Normally, if a student works on a course an hour to 80 minutes per day, 5 days per week, they can usually be done in about 16 to 18 weeks, which is about a semester length. So once they're done with the courses, if they are staying enrolled, say if they are attending Papillion Vista South, we've worked with that school many times before, so they're familiar with us. And they just want to transfer that credit, we just send like a copy of the transcript to the school for their records. So then the opposite side, if a student wants to withdraw from their local school and become a full-time diploma student with us, then we would have, say they're going into their junior year, and they want to transfer all their freshman, sophomore credits to us. Then we would have them request a transcript evaluation. They would be assigned to an academic advisor with us, which is our equivalent to a school counselor. And then that school counselor, or excuse me, our academic advisor, would do that evaluation of the prior credit, transfer those credits towards our graduation requirements, and then come up with, the next steps basically to achieve the, go towards the diploma goal. So that is kind of the getting started for both ways, and it can be started at any time. And we're here to help the entire way through the process too with any questions. So one next thing is tuition. So normally our tuition for outside Nebraska is $250, and that includes a processing fee, and this is for each course. World languages would be $450. But for Nebraska residents, each course is $200, so we waive the $50 admin fee. And world language courses are $350 then. So Nebraska residents do get a discount for being Nebraskans, yay. If a student is a full-time student with us, 5 courses, enrollment in 5 courses per semester would be considered a full-time student with us, which is different than a lot of schools where you see the kids are enrolled in 6 or 7. With us, it's just 5. I've been asked if a student is a full-time diploma student with us, do they have to declare themselves as a homeschool? And the answer is no, because if a student is a full-time diploma student with University of Nebraska High School, they are our student, and they're getting the services and support from our school and our teachers and our staff. And so our school principal will report that to the Nebraska Department of Education that that student is full-time and is enrolled with UNHS. So no, you don't have to be registered as a homeschool. It might vary from state to state, but I know that's what Nebraska is. So many courses will require a textbook. So textbooks are not included with the tuition. Just kind of like college courses, you got to pay extra for the textbook. But we're not like that awful, through sky-high prices as college textbooks. So we have a partner bookstore that we work with online, or we do encourage families to take the book title and the ISBN, and we list that with each of our courses, and to copy paste it, do a Google search, and it'll bring up different options of where that book can be purchased at varying price rates too. A lot of time books are found new, used, rent, and ebooks is kind of elusive right now, and that is not our fault. It's a publisher's thing. So sometimes if a course textbook is available through ebook, that's great, but they are not always available that way. Many of our math courses and many of our world language courses do not require a textbook too, so that's kind of a bonus there. And I think, let me just go back over my notes, make sure I hit all my top spots there. Proctoring. Now, does anybody know what proctoring is? No. Basically, what a proctor is every course or most courses with UNHS will have 3 to 5 progress exams that will need to have a proctor to oversee the student. So basically the proctor is any trusted adult who can oversee that student to make sure, yes, this is the student, for one thing. No, they do not have their textbook. No, they do not have any notes in front of them. No, they don't have their cell phone. That's a big one in front of them. It is just them with their test, and I'm here to monitor it. And when the student is done taking that test, I will help them upload it into our system. So that is the basic core of what a proctor will do. We do not do, there are some options for online proctoring, but we do not allow that just because of the course integrity. We still want to maintain that. It doesn't always work the best if a student is having an online proctor. I know at one time I did an online proctor test, and it was kind of weird because I'm sitting there with a webcam on me, and half the time I couldn't tell if that proctor was there or not. And I'm like, it was just kind of different. So we still require in-person proctoring. In a normal non-COVID pandemic world, we would say no family members and no athletic coaches, just any trusted adult, like maybe a retired teacher or a school counselor or clergy member or something like that. But you know, it's not just a Nebraska thing. We've got many international countries where they are on strict lockdown yet, and the students cannot leave their homes. So we are temporarily allowing a parent to be a proctor at this time. So we're not sure how long it'll go. I guess whenever the pandemic's over, we'll change it. For now, parents can be a proctor for their students. So, and those are probably the things that I get asked about the most at this time. So be it how do we work, what are the timelines, what is your tuition, proctoring. Another thing that kind of goes along with tuition as well is, so we are part of the University of Nebraska system, but we are not affiliated directly with any single campus. So we are a not-for-profit extension of the university. We do not take any of the tax incentive money like the rest of the university does too. So we are entirely tuition funded. So we do get asked, you know, do we have payment plans? Do we have scholarships or things like that? So, or unfortunately we don't, because of that not-for-profit and the being entirely tuition generated or funded kind of a extension of the university. But we do have suggestions. You know, students, if they are diploma students, they do not need to sign up for an entire year, which would be 10 courses. You know, they can be signed up for just 5 at a time. Or, you know, if they need to stagger and maybe do 2 courses and then add another 2, then add another 1. So we do, you know, we have some suggestions on how, instead of having to pay all the tuition up front, we can figure out something else other than that. So, and we do not expect any tuition increases. We haven't for at least 3 years. I've been with the school, it'll be 4 years this August, and we've never had a tuition increase as long as I've been with them. So, but other than that, I think that is my presentation, and I'm open for any questions. Any questions?